Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to your Monday Mojo with me, Coach Mo. Thanks for joining me. I'm wearing my True Family t-shirt, proud mama of my son, who's a freshman at MTSU. So today we are continuing on our journey of talking about both spirituality and success and seeing the connection, of course, between the two of them. And if you're following me, you know that we're using Oprah's new book, The Wisdom of Sundays, as a source of inspiration. And I'm using other sources of inspiration as well, both for the spirituality side and for the success side. So we are on the very first chapter, which is all about awakening ourselves, awakening our spirits, and really just understanding what is our spirit, right? What is this inside here that's unique to us, that calls us to how we feel, what we want to do in our life, what inspires us, those deep yearnings and callings that each of us has. And so today I want to read from what Deepak Chopra had to say when he was featured on Super Soul Sunday with Oprah. And I'm just going to read you a part of it. So he says, "We know where the mind is. We experience it as our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our ideas. But where is the soul? Between every thought, we have a little space. That still presence that you feel, that's your soul. It was there when you were a baby. It was there when you were a teenager. It's there now. It will be there tomorrow. And if you get really in touch with it, if you become familiar with this center of awareness that you really are, you will see that it's your ticket to freedom." And there's so much here that I love. This idea of freedom. Freedom is my number one value, and it comes up for me quite a bit. And I have noticed that the moments where I don't feel free, it's because I'm disconnected with this stillness, with this voice that Deepak is talking about, right? So there's this idea that we tend to get lost. We maybe tend to get lost in our thoughts, right? Because our thoughts are never ending. They are constant, and they're always trying to get us into action. And so what came up for me today as a point of reflection for us is just the idea of how important it really is to create a mindful practice for ourselves as individuals who are high achievers, high potentials, who want to achieve a lot in our lives. And in order to do that, we do really need to be connected with what's real, with what's coming from our soul, and not just what our thoughts are having us think about ourselves and our life, right? So where in your everyday life are you practicing mindfulness? Is it a part of your morning ritual? Is it a part of an evening ritual? Is it something that you set your timer to and take time out during the day to go for a mindful walk, to just go outside and feel the sunshine on you, to read a passage in a book, to just close your eyes and breathe? There's so many ways that we could create this mindfulness in our life. And really it's about creating pauses and getting to a quiet space so that the truth about who we are and our spirit reveals itself to us, right? And we don't have to fear that we're not free and that there's something that we need to do to feel free when we really are free all the time. And that was an aha for me in this passage. So I would love for you to reflect today on this Monday and this week. What is mindfulness for you? Are you bringing it forward in your life every day? And if not, how can you begin to do that? Okay, so it's not about the pressure of doing something. It's just being inquisitive and bringing awareness to the fact that mindfulness is a way that we could get to know our spirit, our soul, and to awaken, essentially. So now I want to shift a little bit to the concept of success, right? Success through spirituality, and how can we now change the conversation to success, and sometimes what hinders us from being successful, right? And the idea that we lose this voice, this soul part of who we are. And so, I've been reading Success Magazine, and I always find moments of inspiration and ways to reflect. And so today, there was an article about the comparison trap. And boy, do I fall in this trap all the time. And I know that you do too. It's part of being human. I think we all, us high achievers, fall into this comparison gap where we feel we need to be like everyone else. And if we're not able to be like everyone else who is quote unquote successful, how are we going to be successful if I can't emulate them, right? Well, if our spirit is unique, then our way of becoming success, achieving our success is also going to be unique, right? And we can only do that through our awakening, through identifying what's that unique aspect to our spirit. And one thing that can certainly take us away from being and feeling successful, achieving that success, is comparisonitis. Okay, so I want to bring your attention now and have you reflect on, does this make sense for you? Is this part of your experience in life today? Are you comparing yourself to others? How is that harming you? How is that actually taking you further away from what it is that you want to succeed? I know that I have fallen prey to this, probably more often than I care to admit. And so in this article about comparisonitis, I'll share the 3 tips that they shared with us. The first one is to start by identifying your priorities, okay? So being very clear about what's important to us, what are the priorities in our life, can help us to stay on track, can help us to really just keep going in that direction and not get off track with things like comparing ourselves to others or what everyone else is doing, right? Let's stay focused on what those priorities are and allow ourselves to develop that plan for success. The second thing is to choose your peer group carefully. Oh boy, is this ever important, because when we surround ourselves with individuals who help us connect with our spirit, with our authenticity, who see the beauty and the light that we have to offer and don't make us feel inadequate, then we are surrounding ourselves with people who are going to help us get to that point faster and with more grace and ease. And then finally, practice gratitude, right? If we can be happy with where we are right now, we're always going to feel better. We're always going to feel like we have already arrived, despite what we're working toward. Okay, so I thought those were really helpful tips on not falling into the comparison trap and keeping ourselves from being too judgmental with ourselves, which doesn't help, right? And so these tips are similar to a lot of the tips that I provide on a consistent basis and that I provided last year, this November, when I did my 21 days live Facebook to help us rise and shine in the new year. And so I just want to point that out, that those videos are still available on my Facebook page, which you could find. I'm going to put the link below, but it's basically my name, Monique Catogio, on Facebook. So you can find me. That's my professional page. And under videos, you'll see the 21 days of videos that I prepared. And we talk a lot about these things, right? How to get out of our own way so that we can rise and be our best selves. So I hope that this was helpful, a helpful reflection for you for this Monday. And I hope that you're joining me in reading this book and scanning through it. Let me know if you are and what you're finding, how it's helping you to awaken, since we're on the chapter of awaken. And let me know also what's helping you to feel successful this week. So with that, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. Have a great week.